Welcome back to the channel. My name is Verbal. Thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. I have created a number of build videos over the past year for Valheim. Two of them, these two right here, have garnered the most views. It was my Super Smelter builds, my original Super Smelter, and then the updated version when they changed how the smoke works in Hearth and Home, which made my old build completely non-functional. In the comments of my Super Smelter 2.0 build, I got this. How about a blast furnace build? Why didn't I think of this? This is why I like having comments dropped on my videos, because they offer suggestions or improvements to the existing builds, and I do look and read every comment that comes in. I took this one to heart, so off to the drawing board I went, and this is what I have come up with. Let's take a look at the build. As always, with every build that we do, you need to smooth out an area for your build. It will make it much easier, much like I did for my Super Smelter 2.0 video, where I told you that I was building the deluxe version, but you could build everything with just straight wood. This is what we're going to be doing for the blast furnace. I will be building the deluxe version of this build with all the bells and whistles added. If you do not have access to these resources yet, which the only resource I believe that you might not have access to right now at this point in the game if you're building blast furnaces is the tar. But if you don't have access to all of these resources yet, you can absolutely build this with wood. Just substitute the regular wood in for all the dark wood. So let's look at the resources that we are going to need today. To start off this build, we're going to grab our stone and we're going to figure out where we're going to put this. It's going to start very similar to how the Super Smelter started. So we're going to bring up our stone floor 2x2, and we're going to want to figure out like where exactly we're going to place this. So I'm going to start here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is a placeholder. This is just a spacer. And then we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to remove this middle piece. And that is the start of our blast furnace build. So one of the major challenges in coming up with this design was, if you look at a blast furnace itself, we'll drop one right there. If you look at a blast furnace, okay, first you have your output is here in the front, obviously. Along the side, you have both inputs for coal and for your materials on the same side, which means if you're going to do anything where you're putting these in between each other that you can walk in and fill up from both sides, you're going to have one outputting in this direction and you're going to have one outputting in the opposite direction. Additionally, these are much taller than a kiln is. If we look as an example to bring up a kiln, if you look at a kiln, these are much taller than a kiln. So therefore, because of the smoke, there needs to be a lot more headspace for the smoke to go so it doesn't choke itself out. That was also another challenge. I did try building this to where the blast furnaces were on the bottom, much like the Super Smelter, where the smelters are on the bottom, the kilns are on the top. And first off, I had to build it up way too tall in order to accommodate for the height of the blast furnace and the extra space needed for the smoke to vent. So I decided to kind of reverse the design a little bit, and that's what we're going to take a look at here. So once we have the pads down for this, we're going to first build our kilns. We're going to put our kilns on the bottom. We want to rotate these kilns to where the exit port, we want this exit port to shoot straight out the side, straight into the center of this. We also want to make sure that it's as even on this as possible. Make sure that you're leaving a little bit of a corner on each side of the pad. We need access to those corners. So I'm going to put this one here and rotate this back around the other way. Make sure it's kind of in the center where I want it to be. And we're going to put that one there where it looks like this. And as you can see, I still can see the corner of the pad going all the way around. That is super important. With our kilns built, and our next step is going to be start building the base of this. The reason why I wanted those corners open is because we're going to add these stone pillars. And if you aim right at the corner, you're going to find that you could put a stone pillar on all 4 of these without any kind of problem, just as long as you have access to that corner piece of the pad. And that's what we should be looking at right there. Now we're going to make 3 stone pillars on top of each other. So you may have to grab some wood and build yourself some temporary scaffolding. Once you have your temporary ladder set up, we're going to go back to the stone pillar, and you can jump up on top of here if you need to. And we're going to add another layer and one more layer on top of that, to where we have 3 of these stone pillars on top of each other. This will give us the headspace we need for the kiln to be able to vent out the smoke that it's going to produce. and will give us the foundation for where we're going to be placing our blast furnaces. Because of how we're going to have these blast furnaces sit, where we're going to have one of them with its output facing forward here on this side and one with its outputs facing on the other side, we need to determine which side that's going to be. I like to have this one here be my output on this side, this one be the output on the other side. So that is very important in how we're going to continue on with our build here. So since on this side here, the output's going to be on this back side, I'm going to select the stone wall 1x2. I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to put one here. I'm going to leave this back section open because we need the space for the smoke to vent out. And then I'm going to grab the stone floor, and this is a temporary set. We're going to set a stone floor there. And on the other side, we are going to do the same, except for the missing block will be on the back side here. So looking out the front, I'm going to go to the stone wall 1x2, put one here, one here, one here. Leave that open in behind me and put a stone floor right there. And that should look a little bit like that. Now, because we are going to be placing the blast furnaces up on top, we can actually put in most of the flooring that we're going to use to walk around. I would select the wood flooring 1x2, and I'm going to run that this way here. So I'm going to first put one on this back corner, put one here on the front. There will be another one that extends out the front here. We're going to have one over this side, and then on the back side, we're going to have it extend out again. And that will be the only bit of flooring that we're going to end up using on this build. At this point, if you want to take down your temporary ladders, because we're going to be building our ladders to this flooring, go ahead and select a wood ladder, and we're going to put two of them side by side, and we're going to run them all the way down to the ground. And depending on where your ground is, how high it is, you may have to add this last section in or not. If you want to raise your ground so you don't have to waste the wood to add like a little tiny section of ladder, that's fine. But you want to run that all the way down to the ground, and it should look like this. Now that we got our flooring in, we're going to add our blast furnaces. So let's go back and grab our materials for our blast furnace. Once we have our materials for our blast furnace, we're going to come up here to the top, and you can start on either side. It doesn't really matter, but let's select our blast furnace, and you're going to want to rotate this to where the inputs are towards the center. The output faces the direction of where the wood is. And then you're just going to kind of want to even this up, making sure that we still have access to the corner of this platform. So I'm going to set one here. And then the other one I'm going to bring over here, rotate this around again, make sure that we're kind of centered into this platform, and drop the other one there. So just like that, you should have one that has the output coming out of the back. And then if you walk around here, you should have one that has the output coming to the front, and your imports should both be facing towards the inside. Before we continue any further, what we want to do is we do want to take down these right here, because we're going to need that extra headspace in order to have the smoke dissipate as we need it to be. So we're going to take down both of those 2x2 concrete pads, and of course reclaiming the stone that was there, because we will need that. Come back up top here, we're going to switch over to the stone pillar, and we're going to put a stone pillar in here on each side, on both sides. And don't worry if it looks like the stone pillars are encroaching in on the blast furnace. These will still function just fine. And then we're going to switch over to the stone wall 1x1, and we're going to put one of those on top of each of these stone pillars. Switch over to the stone arch. Now for the stone arch, we want to connect it to these 1x1 stone walls. Unless you want to build some scaffolding to get to this one on the outside, what I suggest doing is if you aim it at that one stone wall and then you rotate it around, you can actually get it to snap on the one close to you first. And then all you'd have to do is rotate around again, aim back at that stone wall over there, and then it should connect just like that. We're going to do this going around all four sides of each of these pillars. And again, if you're having a problem here, make sure you rotate it to where you can get it to match up on the other side. Rotate it 180 degrees, and then put it down, rotate it back around, and it should connect like that. And that's how that should look. We're gonna add these stone arches to another spot in this build, starting here on this side where the back side is, right at the top of this arch, or right at the top of this stone pillar. We're gonna add one there and there, 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 and there, and here. So we're going around all four sides, adding these stone arches in. So we're gonna do that to both sides of this build. just like that. Next here, we're going to want to make a little catch for our coal that's going to end up coming out of our kilns. This gets a little tricky. We're going to have to dig down a little bit. So about right in front of where the holes are, we want to strike straight down. And we want to dig this down until we get low enough that we can place a block and have it connect to both sides right underneath where the pads are, like that. And then we're going to take a 2x2 stone floor. You see that your stone floor isn't quite showing through all the way? You can either take your hoe or you can dig down a little bit further, whatever you might need to do, like that. Just give it a little hit with the hoe and then switch on back, and you should be able to get most of that down there, just like that. Then we're going to add a little bit of support here underneath of these stone pads, just right around this block, just to kind of seal that off, so to speak. And then on this back side here, I would suggest taking a stone wall, and we're going to, the 1x1, and we're going to put one here, and we'll put one here. And then if you want to take your hoe and try to level this out a little bit to where it makes it look a little bit better. There we go. It should look something like that. If you have wood on you, we're going to add in a staircase. We're going to rotate this and connect this to the bottom, right to that front pad where it comes up like so. And then again, if you want to take your hoe and try to even that out a little bit better, where you have a nice little even walk down, and we should be looking a little bit something like this. And you should be able to walk up and down easily into this little catch pit. If you're finding that you have a little bit of gap here too, you could add in another single 1x1 block to kind of cover in that section right there if you do have an opening. That will be the catch for our kiln. Before we get into the whole decoration of the side of this, we're going to get into the point of building your roof. But to build the roof, we need to put a little bit of the dark wood, or regular wood in this case, at the very top of this build. I'm gonna grab some tar and some wood, and we'll meet up at the top. Okay, so what we're gonna choose now is we're going to grab the dark wood arch, and we're gonna put one right here, and we're gonna put another one on this side, and then we're gonna do that going all the way around all four sides on both sections of this. Now, to get the outside edges of this, you could do this one of two ways. Either you can build yourself a ladder out here, or you may be able to, like I can here, reach it from the ground. And then we're going to do that on the other side. And it should look like that. Now we're going to want to come up here to the top and either build a ladder or something else to where you can get up on the top here. Once you're up top here, we're going to select the wood pole 2 meter. We're going to put one on all four sides. And then we are going to add a 1 meter pole on top of that. Now you may have to get up on top of the glass furnace itself. You can either drop a ladder or sprint jump onto that. And then we're going to add this, both of these, the 2 meter pole and the 1 meter pole on all four corners on the other side. And once that's done, it should look something like this. Now, next up, we're going to take our 26-degree beam and we're going to attach it right here where the 1 and 2 meter beam meet. Now, as I said before, this is the deluxe version. We're using all dark wood and all shingled roofing. If you need to use regular wood and thatch roofing, completely fine. You're still using the same pieces. It's still going to give you the same basic look. It's just, it looks a little different. So in order to get this roof ridge to line up right where we want it to be, we're going to take a 26-degree wood cross and attach that about here, where we get the center point of it to extend to the end of our 26-degree board. And then we're going to take a 1 meter wood beam. We're going to rotate that perpendicular and snap that to the end of the wood cross. This will give us the spacing that we need to attach our 26-degree roof ridge, which is right there, like that. Once you have that attached there in that part, you can go ahead and remove the cross and remove that piece. And you should be able to add a 26-degree here, and then attach the roof ridge like that, to where the top of the roof ridge should look like it's intersecting the poles, like it had naturally snapped there. And you're going to want to do this going all the way around. Now, once you, on this backside, once you get that initial part going, you should be able to run it all the way down. And you should be able to run it here. You would have to use one of these, but you should be able to run this all the way down here as well. And then we just remove the one here in the center because that's not going to be needed there. And then add in our 26-degree as we normally would. And then we're going to do this going all the way around. So again, you're going to put in a 26-degree wood beam there. You're going to add a cross, 26-degree cross to that beam. And then a 1 meter will snap to the end of that cross. And then you should be able to take the 26-degree shingled roof and attach it directly to that beam and then remove the cross, remove the beam, and you are good to go. Now on these centerpieces, we're going to make sure that we remove this section here. You can use it to bridge across to easily set up the rest of your roof line, but we want to remove that. We're actually going to put in a 26-degree wood cross right here. One there and one goes there. And then in the center of the cross, we're going to add in that 1 meter board. Come back to your 26-degree. And you should be able to snap one in there. And then on the other side, it should snap directly in place as well. And then you can kind of come back and remove that little 1 meter board, pull that out. And when you're done with that part, it should look like this. Now, once you've got this part done, you may need to disassemble these two here in order to get down safely. So I would suggest doing that, especially if you use the ladder right there, then you should be good to go. And then you should be able to put these back in with no problem. They should snap right to each other. Then you come around on this outside part. We're going to grab our 26-degree roof shingle and we're going to add shingle there, shingle there. We're going to add one here, going all the way across. And then for this piece right here, we're gonna overlap the shingles. So you're gonna see that you can point it right back here at the X and it will overlap itself. And do this on the backside. And if you have not added, you should have all the 26 degrees, but if you forgot any, this is a good opportunity for you to be able to put the 26-degree beams down. And then just like on the other side, we're going to overlap this here to complete that roof cover. Now to do these outside pieces, you may find that you need a ladder in order to get just that little extra height, but you should be able to, from a ladder, get them to snap in their correct spots. And then we're going to want to select the 26-degree shingle roof oak corner, and you should be able to rotate that around until you have it lined up to be stuck in the corner. You might have to move your ladder depending on where you placed it. But from a ladder position, you should be able to get this to snap right into the corner if you point it right at that corner, and it should look like that. And we'll go around and do that on all four sides. And that should be your roof. Now we're going to add some guardrails up top here so we don't end up running off of our little platform. We're also going to add a lot more of the decorative wood that goes all the way around this to finish off this build. First off, we're going to start from here and we're going to select the dark wood beam 4 meter or dark wood pole 4 meter. If you're using regular wood, it would be 2 of your 2 meter poles. We're going to start from the very top here and we're going to connect there and then we're going to let it connect here. We should only use 2 of those if you're using the 4 meter pole. And that's going to go all around all 4 corners. Like so. Next, we're going to select the dark wood arch. And right here where we have our stone arches, we're going to accent that a little bit more by throwing in the dark wood arch, going all the way around. Including here on the inside. You can add either all of the accent pieces or as little as you want. It's completely up to you. The way I've designed this, as it is sitting right now, this is fully functional. This will work as it sits. Everything else after this point is just purely cosmetic and safety so you don't fall off. Next, we're going to, speaking of falling off, we're going to switch over to the dark wood beam 2 meter and we're going to start to line our floor with some dark wood. Now for this one, you can either do 3 of the 2 meter boards or you can do 1 4 meter and 1 2 meter. I believe it all works out to be exactly the same amount of wood and tar. It doesn't really matter how you end up doing that. But for this front where your ladder is, you're only going to want to use 2 beams and then come up here and we're going to change over to our wood pole 1 meter and we're going to put 1 at each of these. And then around the backside. And then switch back to the dark wood beam 2 meter and we will complete our little railing. Now to put a roof over our steps so that we're not constantly repairing our steps. First, we're going to start with a 45-degree wood beam. We're going to line our steps with the 45-degree wood beam, including down to this last little one. And then coming off of this beam right here, we're going to add, make sure that you're not snapping to the cross. You want to make sure that you're snapping up here at the top. There is a snap point right there. We're going to add one there. We're going to add one there. And then we're going to bring this down. And this is where we're going to need our core wood. So let's make sure we have our core wood. And off of this first beam, we're going to take our log pole. We're going to put a log pole in there and extend it all the way to the ground. Do the same on the other side. Make sure it snaps to that 45. Bring it all the way to the ground. Switch back to our 45 degree. We're going to extend that down until almost the end. Right before you get to the end, we're going to switch it over to the 26 degree. And on that last one, we're going to have it come out to a 26. And then on this here, we're going to grab our log pole, attach it there so it dries it right into the ground. Attach it there so it dries it right into the ground and gives that extra support. And for this one, we're going to put a 2-meter log pole here, switch over to the 4-meter, attach it to the bottom of that, and take that right into the ground. So it offers all of the support. Again, we're going to take a 2-meter pole, attach it at this connection, and then a 4-meter log pole, attach it to the bottom of the 2-meter, and there we go. So now we should have something that looks like this. We're going to switch over to our shingle roof, 45 degree. We're not going to put one all the way up here on the top. We're just going to let that be. We're going to start here on this one. We're going to put 3 of these in place. So 2, 3, and then the very last one will be a 26 degree. And what that's for is that gives you the headroom so that you're not coming down and bonking your head into this roof ridge, but it gives you the headroom and you can come all the way up. And now your stairwell is completely covered and you don't have to worry about it. You can also add in a 45 degree angled railing going down all the way through to this last pole if you wish at this point in time. I don't include it into the build cost, so that's going to be more of a decision if you would like to do that. To help with the exiting of smoke coming from these kilns, we're going to put a 26 degree thatch roof inside of here. Now you're going to want to rotate this around depending on where your main exit is. If you have a large hole on this side, you're going to want to rotate it to where it is giving the angle toward the outport. And you're going to want to aim this at that far block to where we snap the bottom edge of the thatch roofing onto the bottom block there. We're going to put one there like that. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. See if I can give you a little bit better look at this. So right here where this block is on the far side, the smoke is going to exit out of here. This block right here on the far side, we're going to take our 26 degree, we're going to rotate it around, we're going to snap the bottom edge onto that block right there to where it gives an angle like this. That will help push the smoke out this direction and not choke off your kiln. If you find that your kiln is getting choked off, double check the placement of that thatch roof. See if it's in the right spot. That should assist in getting the smoke out of this area so that your kiln doesn't constantly shut off. As this stands right now, this is a fully functional kiln. You don't have to go any further. Anything from this point on is all for pure cosmetic purposes. There is no value whatsoever in any of this extra build. So one thing that we're going to start on is we need to get back up to the roof. And we're going to add some extra flourishes up here. So we're going to take our 26 degree wood roof and we're going to point this towards here to where it snaps on this little 2-meter board on top, or 1-meter board, snaps in the center. And we're going to do the same on the other side. And then we're going to connect the two just like that. And we're going to do this going all the way through the top of this roof. And it should look like that. And now you're completely done on the roof. Next, we're going to add some flourishes going all the way around the bottom of this build to kind of, I don't know, make it look nicer. So starting with the dark wood beam 4-meter, we're going to put one here going all the way around. If you're finding it's hard because you've got this kiln giant butt hanging out of the side, aim at the sideboard there, and you should be able to get it into the right snap point. We're not going to put one of these on the inside because that will cut off how the kiln produces or where it spits out its coal. So we don't want to affect the functionality. We just want to make this look nice. Next, we're going to add one of these 4-meter poles here. And we're going to also add one here. And that's going all the way around our build. The one place that you don't want to put any of those crossing is where you have your smoke exit hole. Do not block off your smoke exit hole. Otherwise, your kilns are going to constantly be going out. If you find that your kilns are going out, double check, make sure that your exhaust is not being blocked, that the 26 degree thatch roofing is in its proper place. You don't want any of that to get blocked. Okay, so that should look like that. And then we're going to switch on over to our dark wood pole 4 meter, and we're going to attach them here and here. And then as well, we're going to also place these going all the way up to the top like so. And at the very top there, we're going to switch to our 2 meter board, and we will put one across like that, where it looks like that. We're going to do that on all sides. And when you're doing this from the bottom side, you want to make sure that you're not overlapping this. See how that's snapping with an overlap? You want to aim this a little bit further up because it could also snap there. See where that line is right there near my Viking shoulder. I'm going to move it up a little bit further, make sure that it gets all the way up into that upper portion. And you'll see that when we go upstairs. Now on our exhaust openings, we can put this on either side of our exhaust opening and then add the dark wood beam at the very top. That will not affect our exhaust. So all of that right up there will stay completely open. All of this right here will stay completely open. We don't have to worry about it. And then even on the inside here, we're going to take our dark wood pole and we're going to attach it like so and run that all the way up, making sure not to overlap itself. We want it to snap all the way up through on both sides. And then if you wanted, you could even add the dark wood beam here and attach it underneath where it connects to the front and back beams of the flooring. Once you're done with that, and it should look like this. Come upstairs and we're going to select the dark wood pole 2 meter. This is why I wish that there was a 1 meter board because of this particular bit right here. We don't want to cross over this entryway because while you still can get stuff into your blast furnace from here, it doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2 meter dark wood beam and I'm going to overlap it into this one there to where it just connects to the top like this. And it just leaves this little opening here. So like I said, we're going to overlap. We don't want it to stick up higher. We want it to come down, connect to that top arch. And that's how that should look. Just like that. Now we're going to add a little bit of extra decoration going all the way around for this build. This is where we're going to need our fine wood. So in these square holes, I want to put in the carved dark wood divider. Now you don't have to do this. Like I said before, this is all pure decorational purposes. There's no reason for these to be here other than the fact that it might help keep the smoke traveling in the direction that we want it to go. That's about it. But I'm going to put 2 there. I want to put 2 up top as well. There will be 2 that goes here. And the way that I'm positioning these is where the bottom part of the design, the point is going towards the inside. So all the points are heading towards the inside. You can put these in here however you want. It doesn't really matter. And all of these you should be able to do from the ground without any problems. Just like that. Now on these little gaps here, we're going to take our iron and you might need a ladder for this. You might not. It depends. We're going to select our cage wall 1 by 1 and I'm going to put 1 here and here, here and here. I'm not going to put any here. There, 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 and there. I'm also going to add in this cage wall 2 by 2 on the back side of here, just to kind of contain the coal that comes out. You'll be able to get 3 of those in there and then switch over to the 1 by 1 and finish that all the way off to the very top. 1 there and 1 there. And we're also going to put 2 of those cage 1 by 1s in here. 1 there, 1 there, and then on the other side, there and there. And then lastly, I want to build a little shelf here underneath of the steps to hold a fine wood chest for all of our resources that we're going to need. Any scrap metal, the black scrap metal we can store here so that we can, when we come back from a raid or something, we can store it in here. We can store wood and the coal that will be used to run this entire operation. To create the shelf, we're going to take a 2 meter wood pole and we are going to attach this here at the bottom, wherever it ends up snapping into the bottom of this post here. This is just going to be a temporary piece anyway. Then we're going to take a wood beam and we're going to snap that to that pole and then take a wood floor and we're going to snap that to that beam. We can then remove this wood pole we have in the core wood, add another wood beam on the other side. We can then build our reinforced chest. I'm going to put that right there. And then to finish it all off, I'm going to add in 1 more wood beam here on the front And there we go. And now we have a chest to store wood and black scrap metal, like so. I'm going to grab this stack of wood here. The great thing about these stacked kilns, having 2 kilns, it uses a full stack of wood. So it'll use 50 pieces of wood. It will produce 50 pieces of coal. The smelters or the blast burners only ever use 20 each, which means you will always have an excess of 10. So as long as you're putting in a full stack of wood, you always have extra coal. So at some point in time, if you don't have any wood available or you didn't go and get any, you can just throw the coal that you have, and that's an excess. So we're going to add the coal or the wood into the kiln. And you can see now that it is producing smoke. It is coming out of our giant holes that we have here, and it is dropping the coal right into the collection right where we want it to be. And you can see that it fully runs, no going out. As long as you have everything built the way that it was described, your kiln should not go out on you whatsoever. After some time of burning up wood, we're going to get the coal that we need. So we're going to take our coal and we're going to take our black scrap metal. We're going to come up here to the top. We're going to add our coal into our blast furnace. And then we're going to add our scrap metal into our kiln or blast furnace. And as you can see, it is blasting out of the top of our roof, which is why I said there's a lot of headspace involved in these blast furnaces. And after a period of time, black metal is produced. Now, if you let this go, it will kind of stack up on each other on this little chute and eventually fall out onto the flooring in front of it. But there you go. Fully functional, double stacked kiln blast furnace build in the same footprint as our double stacked super smelter. Now the ladder does extend a little bit further out, but it's the same basic footprint of our super smelter, now using a blast furnace. Thank you so much for joining me and sticking around till the end of this video. I really do appreciate it. If you like what you've seen here so far, please give a like on the video. If you've liked more of my videos, consider subscribing. A subscription doesn't cost you anything. It just notifies you when I put up new videos, and it really helps the channel out with its engagement. If this is something that you like and you have suggestions for the build, or you want to see something else, like my one viewer wanted to see a blast furnace build, so that's what I did. Please leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this build, if you had any issues with it whatsoever, if you have another idea for another video, or if there's any improvements that can be made to this. I always love taking criticism and suggestions from viewers, so please leave me a comment below. Or if you don't want to leave a comment but you really liked what you were watching, throw in an emoji somewhere. It's all about viewer engagement. I do stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Address is over here. Come on, stop by. Come say hi. We do a lots of variety of things on the channel. We play lots of different types of games. We play Valheim on there. It's a wide variety of things. But come on by, stop by, say hello. Let me know that you're here because of watching one of my YouTube videos. I'd love to know how you found me. But again, thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this build. I do appreciate your time. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you next time. Fun times. That's what we're here for. We're here to have fun. F is for freaking cheaters. U is for UAV. N is for the napalm. And that's how I'll be. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? I don't know. I'm not good.